Mr. Tiff?
Yeah, it's me, sir.
Right, just had a call through from Ops. We've got a downed aircraft. He's had to force land in a remote location as soon as physically possible.
As soon as possible.
When a distress call comes in, the military's aviation roadside assistance kicks into action. For trainee technicians at the Defence College of Technical Training, Wiltshire's Exercise Volant Warrior is a 5-day test of a year's work. Aircraft maintenance in realistic field scenarios, this time a downed Apache helicopter. First there's a brief, then planning begins. Each scenario made as real as possible.
They've had to ascertain what the nature of the faults are on the aircraft. They've had to look up all the procedures that they're going to have to follow when they get there, all the tools and equipment that they'll need to bring with them, and then also collapse their infrastructure, take it with them, patrol to the new location, and then set up and then potentially rescue that aircraft, get it back in the air. We can increase the tempo of the exercise by injecting CBRN threats, so chemical, nuclear, biological threats. So they'll have to don respirators, work in protective equipment at the same time as carrying out maintenance. We can also put in low-flying enemy aircraft where they have to take cover and then report that back to HQ.
We got to see the answer sheet for the test.
First thing they need to consider is the actual aircraft safety itself. So that's the weapon system to make sure that it's in a safe condition and make sure they fired off all the rockets. The brief they've been given that it has been, but they still need to check that. They've been given a symptom of a possible heavy landing, which means that the landing gear systems could be at fault. So we're looking at the shock struts themselves and underneath into the landing gear structures. They can access through several points, but on a visuals, they would have asked the pilot to go down and have a look at crossbars in these areas to see if there's any visible signs of damage. If it's moved that, it's like the frame on your car. It could have moved everything else out of alignment. They've had other symptoms as well. So they've had a suspect fuel leak. Our fuel locations are located under the aircraft, under the pilot's seat at the front, and then past the magazine at the back as well. So therefore their leak is situated in the middle. So they're going to have to drop the magazine underneath and have a good look around to see what they can see within that area. That might be the result of that heavy landing decoupling some of the piping and the works within the airframe itself. It was caused by a drive shaft failure or a fault with the drive shaft. So they're going to have to access through these panels here to have a look at the whole drivetrain. When I tap my ring on it, you can hear it's really thin aluminium. It could be that this has suffered some kind of impact for whatever reason. That's for them to ask the right questions, to inspect in the right areas and have a look what that could be.
Say they have a bad day at the office without the worst actually happening. How do you make it clear to them?
So this is the fun of the exercise. We had a scenario earlier where we explained the aircraft had returned from a firing sortie and had a fault with one of the weapon systems. It hadn't cleared all its ammunition. They carried on working on it, so that then escalates the scenario into the next. So what? You've had a big incident now where someone's worked with live ammunition. So what do you do about that? Always find a point to stop, bring them back down and educate them where they went wrong on their, and almost flow diagram it to say this is where your learning points are.
Senior staff are always looking to throw a spanner in the works or remove one.
We get given scenarios by the directing staff and we have to overcome these. Our incident we had was a lost tooling procedure, which we overcame. As you can see behind us, we've closed the aircraft down. We're just finishing off the maintenance now. All I've got to do now is the paperwork, lessons learned, like debriefs and stuff like that, where us as the sergeants, artificer students, will go through with the trainees what they've done right and wrong, good and bad. Overall, it was a success, yes. We're basically the AA of the sky, like you say. We put these aircraft back in the sky so the pilots can achieve their sorties. Us as technicians can achieve training.
The next chapter for the trainees is to move to their field force units and then into supervision roles, so the trade can evolve alongside the sharpest tools in the aircraft inventory. Tom Sable's BFBS Forces News, Wiltshire. Thanks for watching. For more from BFBS Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.